welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest of stories from our respective apartments and nowhere else. My name's Chris Bolson.
And I'm Alison Hall, and I am back in Australia, everybody.
Yeah, sorry about last week and there not being an episode. There was a pandemic and Alison was in transit,
there was a pandemic and I had to leave the country, essentially. A little spot of pandemic, which you may have heard about. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this situation in the world right now.
I'm not going to lie, it feels very weird trying to make a goofy comedy podcast while this is happening. And whilst I understand that it's probably, this is like us doing a net positive for the world, because hopefully we can bring like an hour of relief to some people.
Yeah.
It still feels extremely bizarre to...
Well, see, when the premise of your, or premise, or premise, whatever pronunciation you want to use, revolves around finding news stories and then, you know, bringing a little bit of comedy, and the whole news is we're all going to die of a deadly disease.
And also half the local papers have already closed their doors. Like,
yeah,
it's not...
It's like, okay, well, great, that's nice to know.
Basically, if anyone has any stories that they think would suit, please send them to us, because God knows we're having a hard time finding them.
We are scraping the very bottom of the barrel, trying to find anything we can. So if you find any news stories which are not about the current situation and they're about something else weird or funny, please do share them with us, because we are struggling.
Let's make a pact that you and I can try our very, very hardest to not mention the Roni on this podcast.
I think I've already stuffed up that pact, because a few of my...
like, a few of your stories are Roni related?
Well, everything's Roni related, Chris.
That's true.
The whole world is Roni related now.
We're the ronicast now. My name is Roni, your name is Roni. Society
Roni.
is fucked.
Well, see, it's great, because having arrived back in Australia on Tuesday, I have seen the airport and my apartment.
Well, presumably you saw the Uber between your airport and the apartment.
I saw the taxi between my airport and the apartment.
Alison's so old-fashioned. I love it.
I know, but the taxi was there.
Ah.
And I was
fair.
tired. I arrived at 6 a.m, Chris.
Oh, no, gross.
The best thing was, though, my colleagues at work decided to be really nice and give me lots of gifts to bring home. One of the gifts that they decided to give me to bring home was a crate of iced tea. It's 24 cartons of 300ml iced teas. So I don't know how many kilograms that is.
So they gave you like a case of iced tea, essentially.
Yes, they did. It was good. It's good iced tea. Thank you very much.
I went to the BWS.
I had to pay a lot of money for excess baggage. So the iced tea is worth that much money that I had to pay for excess baggage.
Oh, that's fair. Is it like special iced tea, or is it just iced tea?
No, it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good.
Nice. Well, look, you're going to need that shit to get through the next week and a half.
Oh, I'll need that shit to get through the Roni.
Okay, see if you can make it last like a year. Because like, I get the issue with carrying it, because I went and bought a case of Roni beer yesterday, because I'm still trying to keep that company afloat.
Sure.
And I just had to carry that the 100 metres from the bottle shop back to my house. This is
right.
a update to everyone who listens to this podcast. I live 100 metres away from a bottle shop, and it's related to a lot of my lifestyle choices.
Fair enough.
But I got tired doing just that. I can't imagine trying to get it from the airport to my house.
So that's why I was in a taxi.
Yeah, I know. If you'd had to walk that whole way carrying it, that'd take a while.
I think it would be slightly illegal, given the current circumstances, for me to walk all the way from the airport to my house.
100%. Yes, you'd be killed by a SWAT team between...
I'd be... Well, the New South Wales government, for those of you who are not from Australia, New South Wales is the state in which we live, is saying that they're going to give $1,000 on-the-spot fines for people who are seen to be breaking their mandatory self-isolation, which would be me, and I do not have $1,000 to give to the Roni police.
They also said that they're bringing in the army to help with the Roni policing.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't want That's just not a fun experience. They've brought in the National Guard kind of deal.
No, exactly. And see, the thing is, that's really... I'm not allowed to leave my house, not even for anything. So if they come and check, I'm going to be in a state of dress which says that I've been in the house for the past 14 days, not leaving it, not seeing anybody.
Well, I mean,
so they better give me some advance notice so I can get into a state of dress which says, hello, police officer, please come in and check my apartment.
I've been in my house since Tuesday, and there hasn't been a single day that I haven't worn tracksuit pants. Like, why would I? I'm going to have to buy some new tracksuit pants is the problem, because I'm realising how limited my stocks are. I will admit, I've been
wearing the same tracksuit pants and T-shirt since Tuesday.
Alison, hey, do you want to just give us a little update on how you smell right now?
Not too bad, because I'm not exercising. I'm just sitting down.
Oh, see, I am a 25-year-old boy, so I think my bodily secretions are probably your exercise level, but that's just when I'm doing nothing. So
fine,
I don't have a choice.
Fair enough. So, yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying your lockdown. You probably have a lot of free time to listen to all the episodes of our podcast if you want.
Just do that over and over again. Even if you've got the volume on silent, just maybe put it on a loop indefinitely.
Autoplay it.
Autoplay it. Just like bump up those stats.
Do we want to hear some stories?
Yeah, let's.
Let's start. They're all a little bit coronavirus related, everybody.
Cool.
This is a story that my sister sent to both of us, and I said that I already had. So you know this story.
Oh, I've already forgotten about that, don't worry.
Oh, that's good. Well, this is actually from, well, now 12 days ago. Look, it's been a while since we recorded the last episode, so 12 days ago is still up to date for us.
Until you texted me yesterday, I forgot that this podcast existed. So, like...
It was like bringing back the innocent times before coronavirus, BCV, and throwback to then. But this is somewhat related because, you know, at this time, everyone should be washing their hands regularly. But this is from the Irish Post, and it says, woman discovers bar of soap she's been washing her hands with for days is block of cheese.
That's right, I remember this now.
And this is by Jack Beresford for the Irish Post.
If you had to wash your hands with one type of cheese, what would be your choice and why?
Probably the Kraft blue box cheese that sits on the counter because it's like plastic. So I feel like it'd be less gross than any other type of cheese for washing hands with.
What I would do is I'd try and find a really rough cheese and then leave it out in the sun for like a week so that then it just becomes like an exfoliating rock.
Oh, God. But then it'd be really stinky as well.
Oh, yeah, it's going to smell extremely bad.
But you're not leaving the house because of coronavirus, so it doesn't matter. If you can
deal with that blue cheese stank all over your hands all the time, then you're golden.
Right. Well, a woman in the US has become the laughingstock of the internet after revealing she has spent the past few days mistakenly washing her hands with a block of cheese rather than a bar of soap. Miley from Vancouver in Washington thought she was doing her bit to stop the spread of coronavirus by thoroughly washing her hands with a bar of soap. Unfortunately, she instead succeeded in spreading some rather mature-looking cheddar on her hands over the course of several days.
Just imagine putting her house through like a cheese blacklight. How fucking wild it must look.
How much cheese there must be just
There's
all over her
just so
house.
much cheese residue all over.
I don't really want to think about how much cheese is just floating around there. Sharing her sorry tale on Reddit, Miley explained how the cheese ended up being mistaken for a bit of soap after it was left out of the fridge following a drunken late-night snack. Waking the next morning, she assumed that the lump was remnants of a bar of soap. She was also keen to stress that she does actually keep a bar of yellow, unscented soap nearby for such use, with the two evidently getting mixed up.
Can I just suggest that cheese is historically not unscented? And that I feel like one would notice.
I feel like the texture of cheese and soap is slightly different in my experience.
Extremely different. Cheese
I've never
has that,
bitten into soap, but I assume it's not as, like...
rubbery.
I don't know. Rubbery. I don't know.
I feel like soap would be more crumbly.
Right. Well, maybe it's a crumbly cheese.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's a... What was it? Cheddar. Cheddar's not crumbly.
I don't know. I'm not a cheese expert. We've got to
You're
get some
not a
cheese
cheesehead.
experts in here to, like, suggest the type of cheese which would most readily be mistaken for a bar of soap. Just realised my soap wasn't working because it's literally a block of cheese, she wrote. I use a liquid soap for the dishes, bar of soap like this, or gentler on my hands after I do chores, if that makes any sense. It was a couple of days of, why isn't this foaming? I come to realise that it was a dried out square of Tillamook sharp cheddar cheese.
Oh my fucking God.
I suspect I left it out when I was intoxicated and just forgot.
I mean, look, we've all done shit when we're drunk. But I'll admit...
Personally, I've never been drunk. But
No, and that's
I feel
your
like
choice.
Even if I was drunk, I don't know if I'd be drunk enough to mistake a bar of soap for cheese.
I think it's the absurdity of it. Like, I've definitely done objectively worse things than this when I've been drunk. Like, but nothing is, like, wholesomely stupid, you know?
It is quite wholesomely stupid unless you had to, I don't know, shake her hand, I suppose,
unless
with
you're
the cheese hands.
vegan.
I don't think the soap is vegan at this
No.
time. People were quick to comment on the major hand-washing mishap and the most obvious question. One asked, but that must mean, have we been eating mac and soap the entire week? A second echoed those concerns. Does that mean you put the soap in the fridge?
Can we maybe discuss the ways that soap is dispensed nowadays?
Sure.
So, I think it could take some inspiration from cheese. So,
Yeah.
currently soap, you can get it in two real formats. You can get blocks of soap or you can get a liquid soap. Mm-hmm. I'm here to suggest this new product, which is sliced soap. You get
I
a
don't know where you're
craft
going
single.
with this.
You get a craft single of soap,
Sure.
and you are not finished washing your hands until that soap is completely gone.
So what we're doing here, right, is a few months ago, BCV, we would have
Yeah.
been caring about the environment and single-use plastics. But now it's not BCV anymore. We've got...
Now it's BCH. Now it's we're caring about hands and hygiene.
Right.
But I will suggest that the soap slices do not have to be individually wrapped. It could just be like...
Well, I would say that's the main advantage of craft singles. It's the fun plastic that you peel off them.
Oh, okay. See, I get Bega slices of cheese that are just like a pile of cheese, and it's like they're
It's
not
just
individually...
a pile of cheese in a box.
It's just a pile of slices of cheese that they put one big plastic around. So maybe
But
I'm
it's not as
suggesting...
satisfying, Chris, to, like, peel the
All right, fine.
plastic
So-
of the individual slices of cheese.
Okay, then we're going to sell two tiers of soap.
Sure.
So there's going to be standard soap slices, which is just a pile of slices of soap. And then we'll
Right.
sell soap slices premium, soap slices pro.
Well, I think the soap slices that would be individually wrapped in plastic are probably less premium than the pile of soap slices.
Oh, so you want that one to be like the shitty, cheap one?
Yeah, exactly. Like it is in reality.
Okay. So maybe we'll call that like... so that'll be like soapy plates or something. And then the fancy
Sure.
ones will be like artisanal soap loaves.
Well, see, the thing is, we can't even use the word soap, right? It's like the cheese, the processed cheese. You can't really use the word cheese to describe it. You have to say, like, processed dairy milk slab.
That's true. Okay, can I... Yeah, Christ. Can I give you a pitch, which is that I like the idea of a soap bakery,
Right.
where a la Fight Club, the bad movie, you
Sure.
have someone whose job is just like to make the soap, and then you can go in and be like, can I have a loaf of the rose-scented, honey-infused soap, please? And then they just like put it in the slicer, put it in a bag, and you've got your soap for the week.
Chris, I think you're inventing the shop lush.
Fuck.
Shall we move right along away from the cheese soap, because now we're getting into, you know, reinventing stores that already exist, but we don't know they exist.
Well, Alison,
we're in
give it-
lockdown.
give-
we
give
haven't
it a-
been outside for a while.
Give it a year and it won't exist anymore, and it'll be ripe for the picking. So,
Well, that's true, and you've got the idea out here now.
I know. I'm going to call my shop the Soap Bakery. I think
Look,
that's a good name.
any ideas that came before coronavirus no longer exist after coronavirus. Copyright is open again now. So
if anyone else is interested in Soap Bakery, please reach out to me. I'm looking for investors.
Shark Tank, take it on there. What's your story, Chris? Have you got a story?
Oh yeah, I forgot that I also do this. It's been so long.
I've got a few stories, but I want to hear your stories if you have any.
Yeah, okay, I can probably whip something up. So this is a story from the Otago Daily Times.
Oh, the best newspaper in the world.
So this is back from the 6th of March, so that's T-minus nearly 4 weeks ago.
Okay, sure.
It's written by Unnamed, which is understandable, because the headline is...
Okay. No
the
one
headline,
wants to claim credit for this one.
The headline is, The Innocent Lollies That Give You Violent Diarrhea.
Okay, sure. Let's hear it.
A seemingly innocent brand of lollies that can be found in the supermarket confectionery aisle are gaining a reputation for giving consumers violent diarrhea.
Oh dear.
Double D lollies, which are sold at Countdown, New World, and The Warehouse, are sugar-free and sweetened with a sugar alcohol called maltitol, known for its potential to send people running straight to the toilet. Maltitol will typically give people tummy cramps, excess gas, and bloating. Some will get away with these side effects, whereas others, especially if they eat a bit more of it, will have what can only be described as explosive diarrhea. Said Hannah Noble, who runs the Keto New Zealand Facebook page. The lollies can be popular with many on low or zero sugar diets, such as keto, but many people find their bodies reacting badly not long after eating the lollies.
Sure.
Double D lollies have more maltitol than other things that contain maltitol, and often also contain other sugar alcohols, which have a similar effect, but it takes a lot more of it to happen. In combination, it seems to make it easier to happen with these lollies. I like the idea that someone in a lab has essentially whipped up a laxative that they don't call that, and they're selling it on the free market.
As
food.
candy.
As just food for children.
Right, exactly. Now, this person who invented this clearly foresaw that in the future there would be people panic buying toilet paper, and they decided, I'm going to contribute to that.
He's got a lot of shares in Huggies.
And Sorbent.
Sorbent.
Huggies is for nappies, Chris.
Yeah, I know, but it was the only one I could think of.
I don't know the other toilet paper brands. I was going to say Kellogg's, but that's not toilet paper.
That's worse than Huggies, Alison. That's not even butthole related.
No, it's not.
That's mouth related, which should not be...
Do not use Kellogg's cereal as toilet paper. It's probably not ideal.
If we've learnt anything from this pandemic, it's that we maybe need to rethink the relationship we currently have between mouths and buttholes. And, that's... I just think we should keep our butthole products away from our mouth products and vice versa.
Sure. I think that's a valid assessment.
Yeah. I read a funny tweet that was a month ago, everyone was out here being talking about how much they love eating ass, and now people are going to be like, it's the third date, maybe we'll hug.
Jesus Christ. That is if you make it to a third date, because who's going outside in this coronavirus climate?
Skype date, baby. Virtual
It's our third Skype date, so let's get nude.
It's like, show me your butthole on the camera and I will imagine I'm licking it.
Jesus Christ, Chris. This is what we turn into when we haven't been in the real world for quite some time.
This is what happens when my social interaction is comprised mostly of Twitter.
Right, exactly. It rots your brain. That's what we're seeing here.
Twitter is, at this point, primarily two things. Just kind of violent anti-establishment anger and extreme horniness.
Often the two go hand in hand on Twitter.
That is true, actually. So people will be like, oh my god, we need to, kill the patriarchy, and someone will be like, can I kill your vagina first? And then that's, just the vibe of the whole thing.
A loud motorcycle just went by, and it's reminding me of being back in Indonesia.
Almost like we're back in Jakarta.
It is.
One person might have diarrhea with 3 lollies, whereas someone else might have it with a bag, and others have gotten away without it.
I like that people are just testing how many of these they can eat before they get violent diarrhea.
That's the new challenge. It's the double D challenge. You have to see how many you can eat before you shit yourself.
Hey kids on TikTok, if you want to do this challenge, get on it.
I'm just imagining like a fucking time lapse of a kid eating lollies, and then it like cuts
and
to regular.
by kids in this time, I'm talking about like 17-year-old boys or 18-year-old boys.
17-year-old boys and the odd 30-year-old.
Yeah, the odd 30-year-old who you think, why are you on this application? But you don't really question it too much.
Because at first their work made them do it, and now they're in too deep.
Right, exactly.
But I'm just imagining like a time lapse of them just like fucking pounding these lollies. And then it cuts to regular speed, and you see them look in the camera and just go, oh no.
Now, Chris, you've got to do the first one, because the thing with TikTok is everyone just copies each other's TikToks. So as long as you make the concept first and you do it, then everyone will do it. And you started a trend.
Lucky for me, whilst our borders may be shut, our imports are not. So I'm going to import some double D lollies. I'm going to film myself eating as many of them as I can before it does bad things to my insides.
Right.
And then we'll just get that train rolling. The double D challenge. Here we go.
Indeed.
I'm not going to read the rest of this because it's largely just science explaining why it does what it does.
No one cares about science.
But
it just makes you poop. That's the crux of it.
I will say that the lollies bear a warning on the package stating excessive consumption may cause a laxative effect. But because of different bodily reactions, excessive consumption for some people can be as little as 2 or 3 lollies.
Dear, oh dear. Well, see, this would be a good way to be able to keep the lollies to yourself. If you're one of the people who doesn't have a strong reaction to it.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to say, how many can you eat before you get violent diarrhea?
How many sugar-free gummy bears can you eat before you die? Like, that's...
Yeah, essentially.
Do you have a story for me, Alison?
Oh, I've got lots of stories. Look, shall we go really off the rails for a second?
Let's.
I'm not going to read this whole story for you, but I was just going through Google News to, like, look for stories.
Yeah.
This was a story that was recommended for me, which is from a Christian news website.
Good start.
It's always a good start. And the headline is, Chris, would aliens need Jesus?
Can you imagine if, say, the Bible is correct and there is a God? Let's just hypothetical for a second.
Right.
Say that everything written in the Bible is objectively true.
Yes.
So if there's the aliens and they come to the Earth and they're like, oh, what's happening here? Let's see your books. And we show them the Bible and they're like, oh, shit, this is true. They realize that our planet is the focal point of the deity of, like, the universe. How shitty is that going to make them feel?
Yeah, that makes you feel so shitty on your planet.
You're just the other species.
You're like,
we're like the
there's nothing in here about
characters.
Jesus coming to our planet. That's really sad.
Human beings are the protagonists of the universe, and it must really suck to be one of the universe's tertiary characters who's only got, like, a recurring credit.
I do love that Google News has me figured out the kind of content that I like. That it's recommending me stories about aliens from Catholic news websites.
I mean, it's extremely on brand, Alison.
I can't say that. I did see this headline and click it immediately. So Google News has me figured out. This is by Monsignor Richard Antal. I'm going to read a little bit of this, but not the whole thing, because it's very biblical. It's very theological. But, Chris, I just wanted to pose that question for you.
Thank you.
Would aliens need Jesus?
Okay.
Let's scroll down a little bit. So this guy's saying that, okay. I'm just going to skip past the start because he's talking about something he read in the Wall Street Journal, and no one cares about that.
Someone I used to date... the beginning of the end of our relationship was when I was like, oh, what podcast are you listening to? And she was like, oh, it's the Wall Street... No, it was The Economist. She was listening to The Economist podcast. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Okay.
And then it progressed and we're not together anymore.
So anyway, the issues that he heard about in the Wall Street Journal about extraterrestrial life, he said, I decided to take up the issues involved with my 8th grade boys' religion class in our parish school. First, I asked how many believed in extraterrestrial intelligent life. Some polls say a majority of Americans believe in intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. Our popular culture, witness Star Wars and Star Trek, not popular with my 8th graders, by the way, and planets...
They're more into bionicles. They're not of the age that's appropriate to watch Star Wars. It's a PG film.
This bloody Catholic Monsignor is being a bloody nerd elitist here.
And can I also put it out there that, like, Star Wars is such a fucking Christian allegory. It seems wild to me that, like, a priest wouldn't like Star Wars.
I mean, he does like Star Wars by the sounds of it.
But
His class doesn't like it.
His kids are fucking dweebs who don't like Star Wars.
Yeah, his kids are, like, not even real nerds.
They're not even
Chris.
interested in Han Solo and his cool adventures.
Yeah, exactly. It says, and planets with names like Krypton certainly attests to the attraction of the idea. Of the boys in the class, all but 2 believed in extraterrestrial intelligent life, and even those were unsure. Second...
Wait, did he just say that people might think aliens are interesting because the Superman planet has a cool name? Was that his argument?
Well, that seems to be what the argument is that I just read there, yes.
All right, okay, please continue.
Each to their own.
Yep.
Second, had anyone they knew thought they experienced something indicating alien life. Several recounted stories of strange lights in the skies. To reassure them, I said it was probably our government spying on us.
The
but
last presidential election, am I right?
Third, I asked them what their reaction would be to meeting with an intelligent being from another planet. Most concluded with my student Murdoch, who is always quick to answer my questions, that they would run away from such a meeting. But when I insisted, they admitted they would have some curiosity about the extraterrestrial civilization. And if they asked you about your religion, what would you say? I asked them.
If Twitter is anything to go by, they'd probably try to fuck it. Like...
They're 8th grade boys, Chris.
I mean, that makes them, what, 12, 13? You don't think they'd try to fuck it, Alison?
Okay,
have you met a 13-year-old boy?
Right.
They're horniness incarnate.
Okay. Then Amari, the epitome of 8th grade cool, said that he would say he believed in a creator God who made everything. Then Isaiah, whose stepfather is some kind of pastor, said that he would say something about Jesus saving us. Would the aliens need to know about Jesus? I asked her. This is one of the theological issues Lewis treats. No, said Amari, but more than a little doubtfully, they would probably have their own religion.
Whoa.
I said that if we believed that Jesus really was the second person in the Trinity, he would be the God of all the universe, wouldn't he? St. Augustine said he heard of monsters in other parts of the world and was fairly credulous. He accepted the possibility of the existence of a race of... I don't know how to pronounce that. It's some biblical race, which has 1 leg with 2 feet, could run without bending its knees, and it had the unusual advantage of being able to lie down in the summer and shade itself from the sun with its feet.
Pretty sure that's birds, but continue.
St. Augustine was really blasted his entire life that he was in the church.
I think he just saw an ostrich once and he was like, whoa, an alien.
Man. Oh, dude, did you see that?
Oh my god.
And everyone's like, yeah, that's an ostrich. It's like, cool.
What the fuck is an ostrich?
Oh, dude, that's sick. St. Augustine said, however unusual to us may be the shape of his body or the colour of his skin or the way he walks or the sound of his voice, and whatever the strength, portion or quality of his natural endowments is descended from the first man.
No matter the colour of their skin, the sound of their voice or the size of their dick is what he just said.
The portion or quality of his natural endowments, Chris.
What the fuck, St. Augustine? How did you get sainted, you horny motherfucker?
Yeah.
He's just the kind of guy who walks down the street and he just looks at everyone's bulge and tries to figure it out because he's really insecure.
Absolutely. And he's like, look, whatever the portion or quality of my endowments, I come from the first man.
He goes on a date and then, like, before he takes them back to his place, he stops them outside the door and he says, now, just to be clear, whatever the proportion of my endowments you might find, it's what you do with it that matters.
At the end of the lovemaking, he will hand them a survey that they need to do, and it will say, "Please rate the quality of my endowments."
on a scale of inches from 1 to like 7.
On a scale of inches from 1 to 10, how would you rate the portion of my endowments?
Please include circumference values.
Oh, God. I'm just going to read this last little bit. The Doctor of Grace, as St. Augustine is called, was also apparently a flat earther who discussed whether there might be other humans on the flip side of the planet, although he doubted it. What if he had believed in the whatever bloody alien this is system and its implications for the infinite creativity of God? Wouldn't all rational animal life, wherever found, be like us, image and likeness of God? And if there was intelligent life other than humankind on Earth, wouldn't they have souls?
Can I just say it's fucking insane that he just casually dropped that one of his kids is a flat earther and was fine with it?
No, like, this is a saint that he's talking about.
Well, that's worse. And again, I think should be that should be grounds to revoke
this
sainthood.
This is St. Augustine, Chris. The same.
Hey, Pope. Can we maybe get St. Augustine the fuck out of there? Because he sounds wild. He's a flat earther who's obsessed with people's dicks.
He's obsessed with the portion and quality of people's endowments. It's not ideal.
What is it? I need to remember this for when I name the episode after it. The proportion and quality of endowment. Is that
No,
it?
no, not the proportion. The portion.
Portion and quality of endowment. Okay, great. Thank you.
The portion and quality of natural endowments, Chris.
All right, well, that's the episode title.
So anyway, what do you think is the conclusion here, Chris? Would aliens need Jesus?
Yes, but the aliens that are already here are the ones who are spreading Jesus among us. Oh, that's right. I'm saying that Christianity is an alien conspiracy. My hot take of the day.
Well, this is what our mate who's written this article says.
Jesus was from Mars. That's my hot take.
Okay. So this is what the writer says about the consensus his class came up with. So yeah, they might need him, was the consensus the boys came up with. I am not so sure many adults have followed that logic. The old cliche was the alien would say to us, "Take me to your leader." Have you ever heard of anyone saying, "I will take you to my Lord"?
Take me to your leader and we take him to church.
Well, look, Chris, that's what he's suggesting. Look, if an alien did come to Earth and they said, "Take me to your leader," and you took them to your church, perhaps you're like a Jehovah's Witness and you invite them along, maybe the aliens would just leave and never come back because they try and ghost the person invited. Have you ever been invited by someone along to some kind of meeting for something or like a church service, and you go and then you just get relentless phone calls from them for the rest of your life and you just ghost them? That's what the aliens would be doing, and so they would not invade the planet. They'd be like, "Oh shit, Earth's calling again. Oh crap. Send it to voicemail." You know, that's good.
They just leave Earth on red.
Yeah, exactly. They like soft block Earth. They, you know...
They're just like, "Oh, sorry, I was really busy.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't take your call, Earth. Like, yeah, I'd love to come along some other time, but like, you know, it's just like the timing isn't right now for me."
I don't know, like, I've got some stuff this weekend. Maybe I'll see what I can do. Like, just put me down as a maybe, and yeah, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, just... And while you're at it, could you just, like, wait for me to call you? I'll let you know. You don't need to call me, yeah?
Yeah, like, are we good? We're good? Yeah, okay, cool, we're good.
Yeah, Chris, I will take you to my Lord. That's what you've got to say to the aliens. That's the conclusion here.
Can I bring you a story from back in January?
Okay. A few months BCV here.
I had previously thought this story was maybe a bit too... grim for
Sure,
this
a bit
show.
too gloomy for what
But
we do here.
Now it just seems hilarious. So
We've just got so much going on in the world at the moment with this global pandemic that even the grimmest news before, that seems reasonable.
this is from pedestrian.tv. This is written by Lavender Baj from the 24th of January. The headline is, Aussie bookstore issues apology after pickup artists caught harassing customers.
I remember this story.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
The cult fave Kinokuniya bookstore in Sydney has issued an open letter to customers after a dating coaching company was found to be using the store to give clients practical experience for their pickup techniques.
Lovely. Good stuff.
It has come to our attention that a dating coaching company has been using our store to give their clients practical experience. Much to our dismay, the apology began. We apologise to any of our customers who have been approached in the store or had the negative experience of someone trying pickup techniques with them. Kinokuniya has confirmed that they have contacted the pickup artist company in question and have asked them not to return to the premises, making it abundantly clear that any of these coaching companies are not welcome in stores. Management team and also assured customers that staff and security at the Sydney store and the Galleries shopping centre have been made aware of the issue and are on high alert for this sort of behaviour. This is the part that I like, because it means that there is security guards whose job is explicitly to stop people flirting with other people in their store.
They check your phone to make sure that you haven't been on any incel subreddits before you come in.
They do like a full body scan to
You're
just
sorry, you've got the jawline of an incel, so you can't come in.
See, I think it's got to go further than that, Alison. I think it's got to be like, if you have condoms on your person, you're not allowed in the bookstore. Like, that's dangerous. If they see you with, God forbid, a rose, get the fuck out of here. If they see you just like go up and... But here's the thing, because it's 2020 and we live in a hellscape, but a progressive hellscape. So
sure, somewhat progressive.
Somewhat progressive. Anyone talking to anyone is flirting on them, Alice.
Well, that's true.
So if you go up to the cashier and be like, I'd like to buy this copy of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, please, you get arrested instantly for flirting just so hard.
I mean, some people would consider that flirting, sure.
I like the idea of going up and being like, hi there, I'd like to buy this copy of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Like, trying to say that in a seductive way. Because I can't imagine something less hot than someone just being like, I really love Harry Potter. Not that I dislike Harry Potter, it's just that one of those cultural things that's been tainted for me by the people who are really into Harry Potter.
Perhaps by the author herself.
Yeah, that's true. She did a really bad job of everything.
Everything post-writing the books. Everything post the ending of the book that doesn't include the epilogue, because that was terrible.
Yeah, didn't like that at all.
That was, up until that point, the epilogue, things were going smooth sailing.
We became aware of it in increments. Occasionally, a staff member would notice something that looked a hell of a lot like an aggressive hit going on and sort of lurk to see if their instinct was correct, an employee named Benita, whose name has been changed for privacy reasons, told Pedestrian TV. Every now and then, a female customer would complain on Twitter, or less frequently, to staff in person. I'm happy to say that nobody held us responsible, they just wanted to make us aware. Benita also explained how staff eventually found out about coaching sessions after one of the alleged coaches let slip that they were using the store for their practical workshops. He said, I have to go. I'm actually in here coaching someone.
Fucking bloody just reveal it straight up. You're like, this behaviour might not be okay. Just straight up reveal that to the staff of the store.
And after he left this staff member and I looked at one another and said, what the fuck sort of coaching would he be doing in here? I followed him around for a bit and, sure enough, Victims of the inappropriate and frankly disgusting behaviour have voiced their complaints of men trying to use classic pickup lines on them while they were minding their own business, perusing the shelves of their cult fave bookstore.
Jesus Christ.
It was really gross. I was in the literary section and I'd been standing there for a while and saw this guy come up to different women. Sydney woman Chloe told pedestrian.tv. He eventually came up to me and was like, "Sorry to bother you, but I really need a book recommendation. I've been trying to get back into reading." Thankfully, Chloe was already aware of these sort of bookstore pickup tactics made popular in Neil Strauss's book The Game. Because Chloe's researched the tactics.
Chloe
of the
is
enemy.
very online.
Yeah. Chloe's read...
If it's the Chloe that I think it is on Twitter, she's very online.
Chloe has left a Goodreads review of The Game being like, I can debunk all of these.
Number 1, none of them are sexy, and that's all.
If you really want my attention, come up to me and just be like, I support the emancipation of insert minority group here. Immediately feeling like something was off during the encounter, Chloe was able to detect the unwanted and completely unwarranted attention by recommending particularly feminist titles. I was like, Kay, I'm going to throw him a curveball. I was like, oh, the best book I read last year was Fight Like a Girl by Clementine Ford, Chloe said. It's Chloe Sargent on Twitter. Is that who you were thinking of?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's cool.
Chloe, who asserts that she's actually here for her own purposes, not to be recommending books to random people, claims she watched the man attempt the same tactic on other women in the store before eventually calling it quits half an hour later.
Wonderful.
What I would suggest personally is finding like the driest law textbook you could possibly get and making them buy that. Like,
oh, Chris, you know I would be out there recommending Dianetics to these boys.
Oh, Alison, I don't know. They're a vulnerable population and I'm not sure that's a good idea because they will get into it.
I want them to get into it.
Okay, Alison, but you are going to make a bunch of already bad people worse by joining a cult.
But then they'd be inside the cult, and they can only date with inside the people.
This is a very slippery slope you've established. That's like 2 steps away from I'm going to give them a book about guns. Like, it's not...
No, it's not. They don't have guns in Scientology. They just have auditing sessions, which will...
They don't have... No guns, all boats. That's the Scientology
Well, actually,
way.
no. They can all get into the Sea Org and just float around on the boat in the ocean away from everyone.
This is fair.
That's the ultimate goal.
We thought they were isolated incidents, though, sort of like a random choices of venue made on a whim by various fuckboys. But the people who work on Saturday started noticing sus behaviour happening every week and eventually started recognising the same key group of people, many of whom I'm revolted to say were women. So don't do that. Be nice to other women.
Just be nice. Don't do pickup artistry. What you were saying, like with the police, like cracking down on people flirting in store.
Yeah.
It did remind me of something that someone linked me to the other day. This isn't an article, but someone linked me to this application, right, which is like Tinder for making platonic friends.
Oh.
Called Patuk. But there's a line here. I'm just going to read out the description, right? Because, okay, it sounds okay. It says, Patuk is the strictly platonic friend-making app. You were looking for apps to make new friends and ended up on this page. Maybe you've moved in the past few years, live in a tiny or huge city, graduated, or just have this gut feeling that there are people out there who would make awesome friends to you. And you them. Or you found a couple of other friend apps, but then after trying them realised that they were full of people looking for more than friendship. Well, guess what? Patuk is an app strictly for friendships. So strictly, in fact, we have developed our own automatic method to detect when someone is flirting.
Yes.
We've even included a no flirting clause in our terms of service, and we ban such users. Any person who attempts to flirt via the app will get their account permanently banned before their message even makes it into your inbox.
What do you think the most innocuous message you could send that would get you banned would be?
That's what I'm curious about. How do they determine what is flirting and what's not?
Like, if I ask someone, do you like R&B, is that flirting? Or, because, like, that's sensual music, but I also just
Sure.
really like R&B. So, like, I don't know, Alison.
What is flirting and what's not flirting?
What is flirt? How do you flirt? How do?
To flirt? I really want to know. Okay, I'm going to try this app. I'll get back to you about what... I'll make an account for someone random, and then I'll see what's the most innocuous message that will get you banned for flirting.
So we're just going to have to start with hi and escalate to like...
escalate. Until like...
to be like, I don't mean to impose. I'm just in a poly relationship and looking for some extra people to hang out with, you know, wink, wink. Just friends, though. Haha. Like,
well, maybe if you add just as friends, though, haha, it makes it platonic, so it's okay.
I think you can say just about anything and say just as friends, haha, after it, and it's fine. Like,
let's get married and have babies, just as friends, though, haha.
I'm going to get on Tinder and start sending out messages, but just put, like, JK after everything that I say. Just
Hello,
be like...
JK.
Just be like, oh my god, that dress looks so beautiful on you, JK. Like... It's going to end very poorly for me.
I mean, I do like the idea of this app. It sounds like a great idea. I just don't know what their AI system considers flirting. Because as far as I know, flirting is different depending who you're talking to.
But can you just imagine the sheer arrogance of the fucking nerd that had both the coding capability and also the confidence in their knowledge of, like, society and romance, that they were like... I am the one to craft this, because they absolutely... If you're able to code to that level, you're not the person to craft this. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Oh, God. The reviews are very mixed about this app.
Shocker.
Everyone's rating 1 star saying, oh, it's kind of broken.
In that it bans you instantly for saying anything?
It bans you instantly for flirting.
I'm going to just be like, my butt's sore, and you instantly get banned for that. Like,
oh, dear.
But that's what I talk to my friends about, as you can attest, Alice.
Well, you just said that there in front of our many friends who listen to this podcast.
Exactly. My butt's so sore. I've been sitting in this chair for 48 and a half minutes.
Probably 48 and a half days, really, in isolation.
That's true. I haven't stood up in a week and a half.
You're probably going to have to get used to that.
Well, I don't walk anymore. I just kind of roll onto the floor and, like, schlub like a slug.
Yeah, exactly. That's how everyone moves in the coronavirus times.
Well, that's the only way I get exercise. I've developed a kind of a slippery film on the outside of my body that lets me slide across the floor.
And that's the soap. That's the soap scum from how much you've been washing.
That's the cheese.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, I should say. That's all I've really got to say on that.
That's fair. Let's end the podcast because I have no more stories. And we're sort of pretty much at time.
Yeah, I mean, let's leave it there for now. I've got a few stories, but let's hold on to some because who knows what the next week of hell can bring.
We're going to need them, Alison, because this is going to be hard.
If you want to try out this platonic dating app and see what the most innocuous thing you can say that gets you banned for flirting is, go ahead and let me know.
Now, I got to stress that you can't be intentionally flirting. You
can't be intentionally flirting, no.
I just want to see... Like, if you say, I like Harry Potter, will that get you banned? Because, like...
Right, because some people would consider that flirting.
Exactly. If I send a picture of an apple, is that flirting? Because I could be saying something.
Right, an apple emoji. If I say... If you send a message that's saying, I'm making eggplant stroganoff for dinner, I don't know what an eggplant dish is, and then you put the picture of the eggplant, is that flirting?
Well, because if you think about it, that's you saying, I'm cooking penises. And I don't think that's flirtatious. I think it's horrifying.
Well, that's okay. That's fine then.
There's no clause against that.
Well, that's good. That's good. Good to know.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to our show. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menacecast or on Facebook at The Red Menace Podcast. I'm on Twitter at Chris Bolson, which is where you can reach me because you can no longer reach me outside.
Yeah, and you can find me at AlisonM_H. That's Alison with 2 L's, by the way.
And just, wash your hands, stay home, don't go outside, be good to each other.
Just listen to podcasts.
Listen to ours on a loop forever. Control your horniness, because that's going to be the death of us if we all...
And make sure that soap is soap and not cheese. That's the last piece of advice I'll give you tonight.
Don't rub cheese all over your whole body. That should go without saying. Thank you, everybody, for listening. It's a hard time, but if we stick together, we'll be all right. Look at me being all inspirational.
Wow, Chris.
I feel like Gal Gadot. I'm so...
Shit. We should get lots of other podcast hosts to sing along to Imagine. Oh, no.
If we do sing a song, it's going to be My Lumps. If we sing a song, it's going
to be Torn by Natalie Imbruglia.
Also a good choice. What if it could be the theme song for One Tree Hill? I think that's a good option.
Yeah.
Or the California song from the OC.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's it. That's the song we're singing.
Here we can. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Good luck.
Hang on. If we get 2,000 listens on one of our episodes, we'll sing that California song.
We will sing California by the OC in the entirety.
If we get 2,000 listens on one of our episodes.
So you better work fucking hard.
Make it happen and we will sing that song for you.
Thank you everybody for listening. Good luck and good night.
Good night.